Good morning. Good morning.
Bro, I did not realize I had I had both mics on mute at that point. So I think that we've got to fix. Gotta move this one away from here. All right, GM guys, welcome to the 114th consecutive episode of Wonky Weekly Alpha. If you missed episode 113, it happened. I swear. There will be no recordings of it ever. Um, you had to be there to experience it. I think it lasted until the next morning, but it was a good one. Live from Tampa.
I was hoping somebody would save a recording for me. It's like, damn, yeah, man.
Dude, I got a Telegram DM from Rooster the next morning.
I know.
And he was like, "Yeah, you might want to go ahead and delete that one, man." And I did immediately as soon as the plane landed.
Bro, that was an epic space. Though you had to be there. Too bad.
Oh,
Oh my god, how we doing, man? You had a good week?
we're doing well, man. We're doing well. I am returning from my, I guess, post Tampa slash, really led in from pre Tampa to now hiatus slash whatever, entering in, coming back into it this week. The most difficult thing about taking any time off at all from this space is that you just feel like there is so much happening as far as trying to get back up to speed as far as what's happening, right? Like if you truly unplug yourself, which that was my goal for the past, even when I got back from Tampa, I thought that I was recharged, ready, whatever. I was like, nah, man, I don't know. I just needed an extra few days. And right now, again, coming back into it, it's like, dude, you know, thankfully, that's the advantage of doing it whenever prices are a little bit sideways, right? Is that things are a little bit more quiet. But these days, man, you always have something moving.
No, absolutely, man. First off, I'm glad you got to finally experience how we get down in Tampa. Bullish on that. But for the past couple of years, I've been doing the same thing. I'll unplug, and then it's hard to get back in. And right now, it is a kind of a good time for you to take that step back and just relax and just hang out and get the vibes rolling. And then we're still here. And price is, I mean, it's driving everybody else crazy, but I've been kind of unplugged too, man. I'm in the Ozarks right now. And well, we
You're not
needed
with
this little rest. We
you're
needed
not
this
with
rest.
BTC Art, are you?
What's up?
I said you're not with BTC Art, are you?
I was literally just with him about an hour ago. Yeah.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time with him this weekend. I'm probably like 30 minutes away from him right now.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I'm jealous. I hear the birds chirping in the background right now.
Oh, you do? I'm sorry. It's probably loud as fuck right now.
No, I mean it's beautiful.
It
I
is,
am
man.
incredibly jealous. Now, I was gonna say if anybody can resonate with what I'm talking about right now, I know it's you, right? Because you've gone on multiple of these mountain escape, whatever retreat type of weekends. And every single time I do hear you come back completely recharged, but at the same time, I mean, again, what is your approach as far as just jumping back into things after that?
So it's just slow and steady, man. I have noticed a couple times when I have come back and just jumped into it right away, I kind of get burned out too quick. So what I've learned over the past couple years is when I do this, just slowly work your way back in. You know, we don't have to, get right back into it immediately, because when you do that, you get distracted by the actual reason why you unplugged in the first place. Like it goes to shit after that. So to really integrate yourself back into it, really take the time that you need to focus on what you unplugged for, right? In this case, you wanted to, just unplug, because you're always plugged in, and a lot of us are in this space, and we don't really understand what it's like to unplug until we unplug. But from myself, it's different from everybody else, man. I always have my guys in room 110 that kind of keep me in the loop, so I'm not completely distracted with like trying to hurry up and find out what I missed. So that there's always a plus with that. But for most people, man, I find it to be the best way to do it is just tiptoe back in, man. And that's I can't stress that enough to anybody who else is listening, because that burnout factor is huge, man. And when you get burnt out so quick with coming back in, I know that's an oxymoron, but it can happen, man, and it'll hurt you more, and you'll make stupid decisions too, because you'll be FOMOing into shit all the time.
Well, dude, so that was, I think what got me to the point where I was just burnt out was I had another like couple months leading up to this where it was another one of those stretches, right? Where I was just 24/7, plugged in every single minute of the day, the weird sleep schedules, the whatever else. And what it really woke me up to toward the end of it was I think that there's an important part of doing that. Like I understand the mindset that leads you there whenever things are bullish and whenever opportunities present because you feel like things are moving 24/7. But like what I've reflected on the flip side of that is I think that just full consumption, right? Where you are fully plugged in, you're not giving yourself a break, you're not really, you know, continuing the regular rhythm of life outside of what's happening in here. When you're in that, like it also can lead just toward, one, burnout, two, that exhaustion that comes along with it can lead toward making some hasty decisions, right? And I think that like finding a solid balance as things go forward is a good way of being able to stay away from like being too greedy, right? Give what the market, take what the market gives you, but like, don't give up certain parts of yourself in that process, right? So I think that was the big part of me where I'm like, you know what, I want just a little bit of time to really reflect on that because in my opinion, dude, the real bull market hasn't even started yet, right? And I know there are a lot of people that have PTSD because they've experienced one full cycle. So they think, okay, it's already come, it's gone. The past few months, like that's it, right? Because we came out of the bear market, we survived, we hit back to all-time highs, and we're not going to go any higher. Like I think that's ridiculous. I think there are a lot of catalysts still in place. Still looking at the halving narrative, everything else. That I mean, heck, the ETH ETF coming up, right? Like, there are a lot of other narratives I think that will continue to propel us forward throughout the next couple of years to prices way higher than what we've seen already, right? So, again, now may be the last real breathing opportunity we get before that madness starts. It's kind of crazy to think about.
Well, going back to the balance thing too, and that is, I think, one of the biggest key factors for engaging in this space. And we're always trying to compete with each other. It's like conditioned in this space lately to try to compete. And when we're trying to compete, we're trying to put all of our time, effort, energy, every single part of us into this to compete in this because we all want to win, right? But we start losing ourselves sometimes, and we start losing the things that matter, in my opinion, or at least personally. So that's why I've always tried to maintain the balance in this space, and for me, it's kind of kept my sanity. And when I am going 24 out, 24/7 in this space, like you just mentioned, you start kind of like losing a little bit of yourself, and in order to keep that balance, man, just the alpha that I'll give, just try to unplug every once in a while. It doesn't have to be a regimented thing all the time, but make some fourth of an effort. Have some kind of awareness that your mind, body, and soul, it's a holy trinity, and you have to nurture it and take care of it, because when you nurture it and take care of it and find that balance, you will win. and you'll win great.
I love it, man. Dude, I seriously feel like I'm listening to some outdoor inspirational podcast with what you got in the
Hey,
background going on right
brother,
now.
let me tell you what, man. Like, complete polar opposite from what we just did last weekend. But being here, man, and I was just talking to BTC about this over dinner tonight. I haven't felt energy like this since Peru, man. And there's something magnetic here, and it is.
Bro, I'm
It,
hyped. I'll be there in a month. I'll be there in a month. You
let's
know,
go,
like
baby.
my summer rotation to the Ozarks. I'll spend at least at least a weekend or two up there. So
Yeah, I think I might be spending a lot more than a couple weekends, man. So we'll see what happens here soon.
love that, man. Yeah, I mean, heck, coming up for me this next week, I've got the other reason why I was like, all right, I need to really get back into things is because I'm going to Miami this weekend for the F1 thing. So that'll be fun. But dude, I'm also a little bit over Miami. As crazy as that sounds, it's just a little bit too clubby and too everyone is trying to be something,
Yeah, dude.
like put on some type of show.
It goes back to
And
that balance thing, though, right?
yeah. So, but I mean, I don't F1 there will be interesting, but like the other part of it too. I remember back in the day, I saw a college football playoff game um, at the Hard Rock whatever event center up there. And I remember, man, like, granted, this was on New Year's. So it was probably up there with one of the busier traffic nights in the city, up there with Basel. But when we were up there, just commuting from South Beach up to the Hard Rock and then back, you're talking like traffic wise, somewhere hour and a half.
Oh, easy, easy. That's a light day.
And yeah, so that's what I'm like looking at right now. I'll be staying on South Beach, and the one thing about the event is just the fact that it's all the way up there, man. That's going to be a lot as far as the transportation there and back. Luckily, Coinbase has helicopters for us in and out, so I'm just messing around. That would be that'd be like an FTX thing. Um, no, I don't know, but it'll be an interesting week for sure. I need to like see who all else is going to be up there because I'm with all of the different crypto projects that are up there. I'm sure it's going to be full of different stuff that's happening throughout the weekend. So I'll be there Thursday through Tuesday. If anybody's somehow around,
I
feel
might
free
make
to
it
hit me up.
down there. We'll see. I'll be back
Yeah,
in Tampa tomorrow, actually. So
I know B-Way said he might be back.
yeah, I think he's in Europe right now visiting family.
But that's the thing with B-Ways, though. He was like, yeah, I'll probably be back for F1. But when he said that, like, he doesn't have a set timeline.
Not
Like,
at
the
all.
new B-Ways that's working for himself, he doesn't have any set timelines. He's
Fucking
just
double
rolling
o
with
seven,
whatever the
bro.
vibes
I'm
take.
telling you.
And it's kind of beautiful. Um, BTC art, I heard that you were just hanging out with Matt just a little bit ago. What's going on, man?
Hey, love and light. Love and light. I was just having dinner with the one and only, and it was such a privilege, such a pleasure. You know, I can't tell you how much it matters. I absolutely. Oh, and the conversation we had about dick holding was so strange, but so beautiful. You know, just knowing that there's all these wonderful people just diamond handing these dicks. Is it okay if I show right now?
Yes, I was throwing up the hundreds for the yes.
Sorry,
Yeah,
who's too
yeah,
busy
yeah. I'm
holding his
just seeing how
dick?
many times I can say the word without actually pitching the project because that's the funniest thing in the world. No, I have had the most fun over the last couple weeks. IRL is the absolute most important thing that Wonky Stonks could ever give anyone. And people that don't get it, they don't get it. But What a privilege, what a joy. I just wanted to jump up and say hello and don't sleep on Dino Dicks. Wonky Stonks are inevitable. And thanks for buying dinner. 80s. I
I
love you,
love you
man.
so much, brother.
Peace out.
Later, my man. Thanks for coming up. Um, yeah, but I mean, this week should be a big week outside of just, again, the F1 stuff coming back. Like the other side of why I really wanted to go ahead, I'm like, now's the time to plug back in. There's some big events with, we've got the Friendtech V2 dropping tomorrow. And supposedly, I don't believe it until I see it personally, but the friend token as well. And everybody right now, it's all pure speculation on everything, right? I've seen claims as crazy as $100 a point for some people that are up there saying that they think they'll get that, which I think that's like optimistic peak bull market type price, right? I don't think that that's what's actually going to drop tomorrow. Then you see people like Luke Martin that are out there saying $30 a point. And hey, I would love that, right? That'd be a nice like little 750 grand stimmy that I'd get out of nowhere. But I don't think that it's going to be anywhere near that, right? I'm going to go ahead and just fud my bags. I think it's going to be closer to $3 to $4, which is still, good, right? Like as far as what the drop is concerned. But the point being, there's going to be a nice little stimmy to a lot of CT tomorrow from that. And it'll be interesting to see kind of what the rotation from that go if it happens, right? Again, we don't even know. They could like they say that 100% of the token is going to users, right? So, that's what everybody's assumption is based off of. We don't know if there's an unlock slash vesting schedule, right? We may only get 10% of those tokens tomorrow. And then, kind of like what the arena is doing, then you unlock the next 10% in tranches over, or you've got to stay some level of activity to be able to even continue to claim it. I mean, like, there are a lot of things, but I'm looking on the whale market right now. If these were really going to be trading for $30 per point live tomorrow, you would think some whales would be sweeping in and claiming, buying up OTC, some of these big blocks that are on the OTC market for the points market, and we're just not seeing that, right? So again, I think it'll end up being closer to the $4 area, which would be like a $400 million FTV. I think that would be relatively fair. Maybe it pumps a little bit. Maybe it gets up to that $10 area. But this phase of where we are in the cycle, really don't think it's going to do too much more than that. But it'll be a nice little check for a lot of people either way.
Bullish on Frentech, bullish on SoFi. I think I think all of this is like needed in the space right now, right? Having a different type of utility where people can come together and actually, set a real value to, and especially in an airdrop right now. I think for sentiment anyway, um, or something like this would be pretty bullish right now. We need some new vibes in the space, in my opinion, and I think Frentech is going to be friendly to a lot of this space.
Go Pytho. I'm curious what you think on it because, like, I know you did a little bit of farming on Fred Tech before, kind of spending more time on the arena side of things. So I'm curious, what do you think we're actually going to see from all of that?
Hey, GM. I think it's I'm kind of torn on it. On one side, I think I really think it can cook. As 80s was saying, it's friend tech, the social fi scene, I think, is undervalued, and being a bear market product, if we are entering a bear market, or even if we have any kind of bear market vibes, that area tends to get a little bit of a little bit of a bid. And considering kind of the price action over the last week or two, I really feel like we're in that position where, if they do drop as soon as they claim to be, and we don't see too many green candles between now and that drop, I really think it can cook because people really want things to trade. On the other side of it, though, I kind of feel bearish about it. I mean, the thing that I didn't like about FriendTech as a user was the interaction model. It was too different than something I'm used to. I'm used to, going and tweeting or jumping into a Telegram chat, talking to people. Um, so something that I guess aligns with with that behavior is something that I'm more attracted to versus the front tech model, which feels more like a blog. So, yeah, all that to say, I really am torn on it. I want to see what happens with it. I really do.
Hey, bro, I'll say this. Like, again, I'm incredibly bullish on SoFi still. Really think it's going to have a really big next wave, especially whenever you see a bunch of majors starting to break out a little bit more, right? Like, because I'm still a believer that we saw SoFi cook in the middle of the bear market, like what you were saying, in just the rinse cycle of the participants that were still around. So we haven't really seen it cook with just, this new wave of entrants that will come whenever we're in the middle of the next bull market when Bitcoin's really into price discovery, hitting that 100K plus area, right? Like we're going to see it really, really cook at that point. I just think right now I'm curbing my expectations for the near term as far as what the price will actually be whenever this launches tomorrow. And I like honestly, I think $4 or $5, if it launched at that tomorrow, that would still be successful. Like, I don't think that that would be, depending on the way they launch it, right? If they're giving 100% of the tokens away, right? you know, a half million or a $500 million FTV to start off with a product like this, I don't think is completely unreasonable, right? I think that again, it will slash very well could. We're going to see like $10 billion plus SoFi products by the end of this, but I just think that we're a little bit too early to realize it quite yet. But hey, anything more than that, like I'll be pleasantly surprised. Right. I just don't want to get my expectations up. And, I feel like a lot of people are throwing out numbers that are pretty ambitious. And a lot of these people are, obviously the people that have the biggest bags. And like, I relatively still have a pretty decent sized bag of friend, right? Or I should, 25,000 points. Obviously, that's not like, there are hundreds of people that ended up farming more than me over the course of but it's still like a pretty solid bag. And I'm just out here to say, I don't even expect it to be that high right off the bat.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting what strategies they use. Right? Are they planning to make it more of a meme token where it's just like, hey, you farmed all these points and now you've got a token for it, but that's it. We gave you a token. We're done. Or are they going to somehow like integrate it into their platform for some utility? I think that's really going to be the deciding factor on the future of this token. Um, if it ends up dropping more like a meme, that first way where it's just like, hey, we gave you a token and that's it, it's going to trade like a meme. Yeah, it'll have its ups and downs, but at the end of the day, who knows, right? It's probably going to zero. But if it gets integrated into their platform somehow, now it's got some intrinsic value, and it can actually it could grow if as FriendTech itself gets adopted. Because I mean, like when I first joined the space, one of the first things I wanted to do was try and find ways to connect to all these people that I'm talking to, right, on Twitter, following on Twitter, reply guying them or whatever. But there's a whole like social dynamic that occurs on Twitter that I think most people either aren't aware of or they learn it the hard way. That as a small account, you don't really have a voice. You're kind of nobody in this space, right? you can do all the things that you want to do, like to try and grow that audience, but unless you fall in line with kind of what makes the algorithm happy, you're going to remain a fairly low follower count account. Um, and coming into this space, you want to connect with people that have much larger audiences because you want to kind of learn from them, right? There's the public stuff that gets tweeted, and then there's kind of like, hey, like, tell me about your experiences in this. Having that conversation. And Socialfy offers the reason I'm bullish on Socialfy in general is because it bridges that gap. Like there's this massive gap where users can't contact the people that they want to, because of kind of this audience mismatch. Socialfy, you reduce it down to, hey, just pay a little bit of a commission to go and talk to this person, either through buying a key to get into their room, buying a ticket to get into their chat, or what have you, right? Like there's so many other models out there, but they're all kind of the basic thing. You pay a little bit of money, and now you have a direct connection to that person, a connection that wouldn't have existed had a product like this not been in the market, right? So, um, I know I kind of went off on a tangent there, but the point I was trying to make is that if they integrate that token as a utility into that platform, a platform that solves a real need out there right now, that thing can cook.
I think you've sold me again on a little bit more bullish potential upside. I'm just preparing myself again for the low side. I will not be disappointed if I see $4 or $5 right off the bat, but I honestly won't sell it at $4 to $5, right? Like I'm not planning in that range. Like I want to sell it somewhere in that double digit territory because I do believe, again, like what you're talking about, like in where this is going, it'll be a multi-billion-dollar product, right? Like at one point or another it will. And then SoFi in general, like I think it has the potential to really start that next wave in SoFi as far as interest. Because we look at like what happened last year during the the bear market, the Pico bottom before things took off, right? Like, whenever prices were down, people were looking for other ways to farm and entertain themselves. This was one of them. So, I mean, it has a track record of solid performance despite the market not necessarily performing, in tandem with it. But then also, you look at like the post halving from 2020, and the prices of the majors really didn't do great for a while. What you did have, on the other hand, was the DeFi marketplace really starting to take off and become something. So I think there's potential for these niche market sectors to actually cook during a period where Bitcoin may not really be doing the exact same thing. And if it does cook like the memes have, you're right. Who's to say that $30, like what some people say, isn't possible? It all just depends on the way that it's presented, the way that it's integrated, and people have just invested so much in this that I think the more I'm thinking through it, even if it launches in that $4 to $5 area, people are going to buy it up, right? Like I really think that's a buy zone. And we'll get some pump somewhere into the double digit area, and then it'll probably cool off for a period. The question is, how long does that initial pump last? How high does it go? Is it like a 2 to 3 day thing? Is it a 2 to 3 week thing? Is it a 2 to 3 month thing? Right? Like that's the way I really see this happening on my side, Pytho. Just depending, again, it all depends on the, like, if there's real utility that they found some way to make this really interesting to plug into the platform, then yeah, it's got like a much longer runway as far as how long this can last.
No, I totally
So
agree. I think it's just like, treat it like any other airdrop. Airdrops always have kind of like that initial run up in price. There's the people that realize that, oh, this is actually a boatload of money to me, so let me sell some. and then you get your retracement, and then after that is kind of it's kind of when you start seeing the real movement in that token. Like you start out with price discovery, but that can be short lived just because people are finally realizing something off the fees that they've spent on that platform, right? Um, so it can go many ways, but longer term, I think it'll be very interesting to see where it goes.
Well, I'm looking at like Dime for an example, right? Dime was one, two, three, four, five, like about 9 days before it hit its peak after the airdrop, and it did more like than it went all the way from three something all the way up to like nearly $9, right? So it like I think that makes a little bit of sense. Some like how long did W W was basically straight down, wasn't it? Um,
Sounds more like an L to me.
yeah. So I mean, it just depends. Again, it just depends on like it's just a little bit interesting timing again with the where the market is right now with the fact that things are down a little bit. But I actually like I don't know, man. I think it's going to be really interesting just to see how it all plays out, that money rotation. And in 3 years, whenever Arena's launched, we'll have a good roadmap for what to expect after, like after its token is on chain.
Hey, real
Yeah,
quick, I
yeah.
wanted to shoot a happy birthday to Python, but just love you, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, 80s. I really appreciate
Oh, happy birthday, bro. 27. I'm kidding you not.
it.
27 looks good, bro.
Thank you, Kaleo. Thank
Honestly.
you. I, what I would give to be 27 again. Sometimes.
Hey, for all of you in the audience that don't know, man, we had the pleasure of hanging out with Python last weekend, and this dude is a natural born leader. He is highly intelligent, and he is just the absolute vibe, man. So it was a pleasure to hang out with you, and Pitcott too on stage, man. Love you, brother.
Yeah, Pick God, you've been too quiet up there. What's up, man? Yep. Yeah, he's still in recovery.
It was definitely a pleasure hanging with you guys. It was a lot of fun. First Wonky Stonks meetup. First time I met all of you guys, and still like it was a blast. I loved it. I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, dude, definitely gonna be an annual thing, dude. Honestly, the vibes were immaculate. It's really good getting to know the people, we talk to here every single day. It's truly a pleasure. But dude, I think I had myself muted, but I was sitting here thinking like, oh, I'm not really bullish enough on SoFi. And I was kind of just thinking about like the whole streaming era we've kind of entered in like the last few years post COVID. And like being around when Frentech kind of first launched, like I didn't really touch it. Was kind of late. Just bought like a couple of the Wonky Stonk guys' keys and cheated them at some point. I still have some ETH sitting in there. But again, like I thought the same thing. It was like, all right, bear market product. Like I'm sure in a true bull, like those are products that can get really big wheels really fast, and move. I think, and again, like outside of just like crypto native stuff, like I think that's something super applicable and useful to like everyday people too, right? Like a lot of content creators, not just crypto native people. So definitely got to dive a little more in on that. I think like the only one I really used, dude, was New Bitcoin City, and I got out of there pretty quick. Just seeing your chat, Kaleo, I was like, all right, if this is what this place is, it's probably not the best to be hanging around here.
Bro, it was just pure gamble is what they turned it into. Like
Yeah,
it
dude.
started off really cool
Like I
on that
remember
one.
being in
And
there like
like I logged on to it the other day though, PickGod, because I was curious, do I have any like change sitting around on that app? The app doesn't even work anymore. I don't even get how they have any TVL. I went on there and at least maybe it's an issue that I had. Like I'm looking back through. Okay, well, I'm seeing a few things actually working a little bit better, but it's not really like I don't think they're developing it anymore. I think the guy that was the main developer who's a good dev, ended up building his own Bitcoin L2. And I think that's what his primary focus is. So I think that like the app itself just like it shows you that you have to have something more than just gambling to be able
Yeah,
to get
dude,
people to stick
your
around.
chat room was insane. I remember I got to the point where you were like, dude, can you guys just like stop showing your bags in here the entire time? I was like, yeah, this is kind of a cesspool.
I
So
think
that
they renamed it to Alpha because it's Alpha software, not because you get Alpha from it.
yeah, but dude, other than that, I mean, I'm just sitting kind of on my hands, watching, observing, not really feeling any rush or anything. It was pretty hard going back to work last week. Even had taken like the extra day. I was like, damn, this shit sucks.
Yeah, you need
I'd
a
rather
you need a
just
whole
have a
week
breeze.
recovery for that shit, bro.
Yeah, dude.
You know, you mentioned the content creator aspect of it beyond like the crypto, like that. That's what I'm bullish on actually, like because to also Python's point earlier, it's hard for people nowadays to get a following and actually give good content out there. It gets overshadowed by I think a lot of bullshit. So having the advantage of kind of creating your own is really cool. My ADD just doesn't allow me to do it. Like I have a lot of these, but dude, I just can't do it. Like so, props to all of you guys.
Yeah, no,
Damn,
So
is that
shit.
bad?
it's tough, man. No, I do feel that though, Pick God. I really do. I will say that's one thing that's been really nice about this break is my sleep schedule has been 10 times better.
Dude, I
So
slept like a
I,
cumulative like 40 hours this week. Like that's insane to
bro,
me. Like that never happens.
that's incredible. No, I've been like falling asleep very regularly at 11 and getting up very regularly, no alarm, like 6:37. Staying in the gym every single day. I've upped my I'm telling you, bro, that is the one thing that Tampa really woke me up to also. For those of y'all that are in the crowd, I've never seen that many beautiful people in my life. Like everybody was in
It's a
shape,
hidden
men
gem.
and women. Like it was crazy, man. Like, and I just realized I needed to step up my game as far as just like both my working out and my diet. I thought I was starting to get a little bit better, but man, I got a lot of work to do this summer.
Kaleo got to experience the Bermuda Triangle.
So yeah, no, I've been like 6 days in the gym. Today's my off day. Sundays usually are. But yeah, no, I mean it's been good. It's been like building just a lot of the other important daily regular habits outside of this, and like this week, hopefully, just diving back into things a little bit more because I like realistically, I expect the market to kind of do what it's been doing for a little bit longer, right? Like we talked about it last week. After the halving, it's not usually immediately bullish for things, right? Like it takes time. I'm not even going to dive into all like the fundamentals for why, like, hop on a stream or maybe I'll write up a thread on it later this week, but it takes a little bit of time before you start to see that up only again. So like now's the time to breathe. Now's the time to be able to really focus in and say, okay, what is that next opportunity? And really start to position yourself for it.
Absolutely, man.
So
I'm gonna get going, brother. Love you guys. I really appreciate just all the vibes in real life is where it's at. I've always been bullish on that. You guys know me, and again, balance is key, brother. I'm glad you got there. Much love, everyone.
appreciate it, man. Appreciate you coming up. I'm going to go ahead and wrap things up as well. So appreciate all y'all coming. Apologize for the episode being a couple days late. Again, we'll be hopefully back to Friday. this next week. I'll be doing that one for Miami. So depending on what the schedule ends up cooking for me, but I think I should have some time on Friday. But yeah, wonky stonks are inevitable. No chill to a bill. And let's hopefully I'll get rich tomorrow on whatever this airdrop is. So we'll see y'all then. Take it easy.